Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We have a list of 16 properties, and there's 14 on the Toronto system, 2 more on the Oakville-Milton system. And I wanted to talk to you quickly about how information basically is set up in real estate. So if your agent is part of the Toronto Real Estate Board, so that is very common when they're in Brampton, Mississauga, or Toronto, so out-of-town agents, they're only looking at Toronto Real Estate Board information. Oftentimes their clients are just getting 1 email a day through some kind of notification. And then there's also the Oakville-Milton Real Estate Board, which is a separate entity, but it also shares boundaries with the Toronto Real Estate Board, so they overlap. And so what we find, and if you've watched Daily Homes, you've seen this, is that we would have Toronto would have some, and then we would also have Oakville-Milton that has some other properties that aren't on Toronto. So each board has separate information, and then there's some that are shared. And so whenever we list a home, it's on both real estate boards, which means there's actually 2 different listings. How you can see that on the public sites, MLS numbers starting with a W come from Toronto, starting with a 2 come from the Oakville-Milton board. And then there's also another board that we do get listings from is the Hamilton-Burlington board, which starts with an H. And so depending on which membership your agent has, that's going to depend on the information that they provide. They can't do research on the Oakville-Milton board if they're not a member. And so one of the things that's been very helpful for our team is having access on all 3 real estate boards instead of just one. And it helps our sellers because we can expose them to more avenues, and it also helps our buyers. The unfortunate downside is that we've got to set them up on a few different email searches in order to make sure that they get everything. So anyway, housekeeping aside, let's talk about today's homes. Now the first one up is 812 Ferguson, 464.9, and so funny enough, what happened here, if you look on the bottom, interboard listing, Niagara Association of Realtors. So these agents are not a part of the Toronto Real Estate Board, which is the W right here. So what they did was they paid $50 and they said, okay, well now we're going to put it on the Toronto board, which is smart because if it was just on the Niagara board, remember you can only put listings on really the board that you're a home member of, and then you can pay a fee for the other ones. If it was just on the Niagara board, the only people that would see it would probably be people looking publicly. The realtors would have no idea about this, and the stats say that the first notification that a buyer gets about a home that they buy comes from a real estate agent 36% of the time. So it is a big audience to miss if you're only going to put it on a board that most of the local agents are not looking at. So nice front and back landscaping. Inside looks like a Lake Point model, so it's got the 1 room here, but it's a smaller version, and there's only 1 full bathroom upstairs. It's tight, it's small, not a very big kitchen. You got to be careful with table size here. I don't know, like I would rather go with something like the one that we have on Edwards, like an end unit townhouse, and then you're getting the 2 full bathrooms upstairs, and you're pretty much at even a larger square footage. This one's always going to be a semi, and you know the other one will always be an end unit town, but for the same price. I just see that functionally there's more there on something like Edwards on a day-to-day basis of use. Now this one on Aird Court has an interesting history. I had an offer on this one. So when they first started off, they put it at $499, and past sales for homes like this have been in the range of, let's say, $520 to $540, maybe a little bit more than that. And so we brought an offer in, and the agent said, well, no, we're not interested in that. We were in competition. I said, well, you tell me what you are interested in, and let me see if I can make that happen. So anyway, turns out he says, we want $560. And I said, are you crazy? Right? I said, that's not going to happen. This house it's dirty, right? You could clean it, but it's dirty. It doesn't show well. 1940 square feet, or 1968, I think they put in the description, something like that, plus a finished basement. And anyway, long story short, was the next day they canceled the $499 and put it at $560, and they had that running for a while. No luck on it. So lo and behold, I see the listing today at $565. So $5,000 higher than a price that was just basically sitting around doing nothing, and $65,000 more than their original price, which they still couldn't get any kind of person that in multiple offers would even come close to those numbers. So anyway, I wish them the best of luck. I think that the strategy is a little bit backwards, to say the least. And my only advice would be to break out a vacuum and to make sure that this place looks good, because again, clean, tidy, and bright are 80% of the battle. I've seen a lot of homes that don't have the fanciest finishes that, when they are well kept and there's pride of ownership, they do very, very well. So anyway, that's the story on this property. Now, we sent out the preview on Malick Street yesterday. It's 575, 1440 square foot bungalow with a double garage in an adult community. And we just don't find many of these. There's only 196 of them. Many of those are single car garage, and then the doubles are things that people wait for. They're in high demand, and there's only been, I think, one or two in the last year that have listed, and one just with a double garage and a finished basement backing onto green space just recently went over $600,000. So this one has had some nice renos done, smooth ceilings, so things that you don't typically find in an adult community. This is one of the better looking homes that I've seen in this neighborhood ever, and it has a nice open concept feel to it. So you've got a dining room plus a family room. It's all open, so it's a very friendly environment, whether there's two people here or whether it's even a family coming over for dinner or something like that. Main floor laundry plus 2 bedrooms, and then you've also got 2 full bathrooms in the home too. Unfinished basement. Because it's a bungalow, the footprint of this home is huge. The footprint on this home would be like a 3,000 square foot home, so there's a lot of room to finish the basement. You could put 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a rec room, and plus a bunch of storage and still have room to spare. And then that's the backyard. It's about a 44 by 92 foot property. So big enough to cover the home, enough room to do some gardens, and but not so overwhelming that you feel like you're mowing your lawn all day, which is the story for some other bungalows. Very friendly neighbors. Really, I've heard a lot of people say that Drury Park is a throwback of the days when of Milton Old, where people would kind of greet each other at the grocery store, and a very kind of friendly village feel. That's what people give us feedback about what it's like to live here. So anyway, that is the story on this one here. There's a $90 fee, which includes road maintenance, so snow removal essentially, and also garbage removal. You still got to shovel your driveway here, but it does cover the road. Got Marcellus here at $599,900. If anything, the only problem that I would have with this would be it's a 3-bedroom, but I think besides that, it looks like it's in very good shape. Bit of a darker toned wood here, but it looks like they've kept it pretty well. And so 60 by 115 foot lot, couple pot lights at the top of the stairs, and good looking backyard. So I think they're going to do really well on this home. We've seen a couple of the 3-bedrooms even go up into the 620 range, and I think these guys have the potential of doing asking price or a little bit better. It's a nice home. And the double garages with the big lots in Old Milton, they are in demand. Okay, so we've got Stern Place, 680. It's a Carrington model, so it's just over 2,000 square feet, built by Mattamy. And I'm not a big fan of the photos, but we'll try and look past the photos. And so 3 bedrooms here, double car garage, which is not even shown, I believe, in the pictures. There's no outside shot of this home. It's a nice layout. If you don't need the 4th bedroom, it's a very, very good layout. plus a finished basement. We sold a really nice version of this home without a finished basement on a equivalent street in the neighborhood at 620, back when there was still snow on the ground. So I think it's 680. It's a little bit of a stretch here. The other thing is it's a forced air gas system. It's not forced air electric. I just think with these photos, not even a front shot to show a double garage, which would be, to me, obviously a very important photo. Yeah, they're gonna have a tough time. Okay, so we've got Hampshire Way. This, I believe, is a live work, 719. So a lot cheaper than some of the stuff. Like there's been one sitting on at Derry & Thompson in the 8s, and not a lot of action on it. Anyway, this one here, I'm not sure the exact size and dimensions or how much space is down below, but you've got commercial down below, and then you've got residential above. I would think for a 3-bedroom townhouse style place, you're probably looking at getting anywhere from $1,300 to $1,600 in rent for the residential part, and then you're looking at commercial, probably $20 to $25 a square foot. And I think it says a Western Union on the outside here. So you could look at this as an investment. I think comparing this one to Derry & Thompson, where the prices are a bit higher, I like the exposure on Main Street. I almost invested in one of these, but I found the parking wasn't ideal. They've now opened up parking on Main Street to mixed reaction from some Milton residents. Anyway, the price to me looks pretty good. They're not easy to sell because it's a bit of a smaller audience that's looking for something like this. And yeah, the other thing that we talk about with live works is the financing can be a little bit different because there's a residential and a commercial component. Those types of lending are drastically different from each other, and so there are some hybrid programs that exist there. You want to talk to a good mortgage broker about that. And there's also the possibility that the commercial side of it, whatever that's valued at, could be subject to HST. So commercial and new construction are subject to HST. So if you're in the market for 10,000 square feet of finished space, you might want to look at this one at 28th Side Road, 2.6 million. And again, there's only a niche audience for something like this. And I like the fact that they put this at less than 3 million because the audience really drastically decreases at each different price level. Even going from 1.5 to 2 million, you're talking about probably 10%. Like you're talking a 90% reduction in the pool of buyers. You've got 20 acres of land here, which alone in this area is probably, I'm going to say, the better part of 7 figures, maybe not worth $1 million, but then you've got the rest of the house here and all the different, that's a guest house. I mean, that's better than some people's homes. And yeah, so I like this one. It's cool, it's different. There's a hockey rink apparently, there's a tennis court. You just can't summarize a home like this on a listing where there's 20 photos and about 400 characters of typing. If you're in the market in this range, you got to go check something like this out in person. And the only other thing I'd say is that when you get to this price point, you can lose people to Oakville. You can lose people to Toronto because you can get quite a nice home, maybe not 20 acres, but you can get waterfront, and your options are definitely there in a lot of surrounding communities. So anyway, nice house though, very sweet. Good way to end a Friday episode. Okay, so that's the list. If you have any questions, or even if you just want to go see a couple places this weekend, give us a call. We're here to help. 905-693-9346, or you can just respond to any email that we've sent out, and we'll get it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday with more Milton Daily Homes.